We are starting Unit 6, which is writing linear inequalities and systems of equations. So these are the same few slides that we always have with our formula chart, everything. So this is the first slide that we're going to do, slide 5. We are actually going to be graphing linear inequalities. So remember when we did one variable inequalities, we graphed on a number line and then we shaded left or right. Do y'all remember that? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. I'll show you in my journal. So this was one variable equations or inequalities. And whenever you do one variable inequalities, you actually have a set of numbers that your variable could equal. So when x was greater than 7, we put a circle on 7 and then went to the right because it's greater than. And then with less than equal, like this one, we went left for less than. And then we shaded. So x could be any number from -5 to -infinity. So we're doing the same thing, but we have two variable inequalities. So we need to solve the two variable inequalities just like we normally would when we have y equals mx plus b. Then we're going to graph them on, so we'll graph them like we've graphed before, but we're going to shade either up or shade down because it's going to include a bunch of different solutions. It's not just one answer when it's an inequality. So let's go back over here. So let's write our steps. So double click and you can get a text box there, I believe. Let me zoom in a little bit more than this. Okay, so step 1 is going to be, solve the inequality for y dash. Just like when you solve linear equations for y. But a big reminder, you must flip the inequality symbol when you divide both sides by a negative. So just a reminder on when we do that, I'll show you back whenever we did solving one variable inequalities. Okay, so remember back a while ago when we solved and we're solving for x on this one, whenever I divided by a negative, I circled my inequality sign and then I flipped it. So it's the same thing whenever you solve your equation for y. Anytime you divide both sides by a negative, you have to flip that sign. Okay, so let's go back. All right, so step 2 is to graph the line y equals mx plus b. But it's going to be a solid line for the symbols less than equal and greater than equal. So let me find insert special characters less than equal and then greater than equal. Can y'all see that? Is it too small? No. And so if it's solid for anytime it says or equal to, then it's going to be dotted or dashed. You can put either one. Okay, the next step is knowing how to shade it because it's not just the line, it's all of a certain area that is greater than this equation or less than this equation. So you're going to shade above. What do you think? Shading above, do you think that's going to be less than or greater than? It's going to be greater than. So we're going to put the greater than symbol or greater than equal to symbol. I just copied that other greater than equal to symbol that I've already put here. Oops, sorry. So anytime it's greater than equal to, you're going to shade above. You're going to go in the direction that is larger than that number or that equation or that line. So then shade below anytime it's less than or less than equal to. I'm going to grab this less than equal to sign to put over here. Okay, and then step 4 is use substitution to check a point in the, not type today, in the shaded area. Okay, and then something that a lot of people forget is the dashed line. So don't forget to dash the line for less than or greater than. That's something a lot of people forget. They'll do everything right except for that dash. Okay, let's move on over to an example. Okay, let's look at our example. It's already solved for y. Y is greater than 2 over 3x minus 4. When should your graph have a solid line? Let's answer that. Do what?
The original line.
When should it be solid? Like, what is this one going to be? Dash. So when is it solid? It's at less than equal to, or I'm going to go over here and grab the other one, or greater than equal to. So this is just a reminder. I'm going to bold this, make it a little bigger. Okay, when should you have a dashed line?
When it's just
It doesn't have the equal to.
when it's greater than less than.
Yep. Okay, when do I shade above the line? Greater than, or equal to, or just greater than?
I mean, below.
Anytime it has the greater than, because above means bigger, right? So bigger means greater. And when should I shade below the line? Less than or equal to, or less than? I'm going to go up here and grab my less than or equal to sign. Or less than. So less means below. All right, so on this equation, let's look and see. We need to go and graph it. I'm going to graph it on here and show you how to shade on here, which is really cool. You can do it in your journal if you would rather, but I want you to at least do this one in the digital journal. Okay, so our slope is 2/3. So right here, we are going to put 2/3. And then our B value is -4. Right? Yep, 2/3 and -4. So over here I have a point. So in order to graph it, I'm going to graph it just like the y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to graph the y-intercept. So grab a point from over here. Y'all look. Grab a point. And then go down to plot our y-intercept at -4. And then we need to go up 2 over 3. Up 2 over 3. Get a few points in there. Up 2 over 3. Okay, so looking at our inequality, this one says greater than. So are we going to have a dashed or solid line? Dashed. All right. So I'm going to pull this over, line it up with your point. So I'm going to have to do one side and then I have to do the other. So it takes a little bit of moving it around to get it directly on all 4 of those points that I graphed. There we go. And I need to shade it. How is this going to be shaded? It says greater than. Where is greater than? Above. So the way I think about it is, y'all stick your arms out to your sides, like you're an airplane. Okay? So greater than would be where your head is. No matter what way I fly my airplane arms, your head is always above. Your feet are always on the bottom. That's below. So if we do our arms, do your arms just like that line, like this. You see the line in front of you? Yep. Okay, so above would be where your head is. So that's how we'll shade. Let me show you how to shade this, though. We are going to do a polyline. I think this is how we did it. One of my students had to show me. Click here. Okay, now you're going to start at the end of the arrow. Click, and then it's going to have you create like a line. So click, follow where the shading would be. Click, click, and then back down to connect it. And it shades it. Do y'all want to see that again?
Yeah.
Okay, so I clicked polyline. And I'm going to start down here at the bottom with the arrow and go up. Click, and then over, click, down back to the arrow, click, and then back to our original point. Click.
Look, where's polyline at?
Right here. See where scribble, line, arrow, all that? And I think I'm actually going to extend this line a little bit more so I can, oh no, let's see, polyline. So I can actually do the whole graph like that. I messed up. Okay, and then we want to change this so we can actually see through it. So go up here to fill color, and we are going to do a custom color. So click on the plus, and I'm going to make mine more transparent. I think I'm going to make it blue. Blue, but the transparent blue, or purple, I don't know. Put the transparency about here. Change it to blue or whatever color you want. It doesn't matter. Push OK. Look how pretty that looks.
Yeah.
And I think you can adjust it a little bit. Like you can pull on these sides, pull down on that. Isn't that cool? I think it's cool. Y'all might not, but whatever. So if we look at this, all of our solutions, instead of saying our solution is on that line, our solution is everywhere that it's shaded and beyond, of course, because if I were to make this a bigger graph, you could go beyond. So I'm going to find a point in the shaded area. There's a point. I just stuck it right there. And that would be at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 5. So I'm going to put 0, 5 down here. And I need to check and make sure that that really is a solution set. So I go up here, and I'm going to plug in 0 for x and see if it still makes sense. So y is 5. 5 is greater than 2/3 times 0 minus 4. And I'm going to show you how to put that in your calculator. And it'll tell you if that's true or not. We can also just look at it, but a 0 would cancel out that 2/3, so it's 5 is greater than -4. Is that true or not? It's true. So that means that point is part of the solution set. So I'm just going to put true. So that's all I wanted to show you, is that that point was one that we checked to make sure it was right. Because if I checked a point over here, it would be false. So let's find a point over here. Grab a point, drag it over. Let's do just down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0, -7. So if I plug in a 0 for x again, but this time my y is -7. -7 is greater than 2/3 times 0 minus 4. So then I would get -7 is greater than -4. Is that true or false? False. So having that other point, the 0, -7, outside of the shaded area, the solution set, that means we did it right. We graphed it correctly. So we just want to be able to show that a point inside the solution set is true. Okay, let's go to slide 6. Questions to ask when graphing linear inequalities. Is the inequality in slope-intercept form? If yes, identify M and B and plot the points. If no, convert the equation to slope-intercept form, then identify the M and B and plot the points. Before connecting your points, ask, should this be, make a little text box, dashed, or should be a dashed line or a solid line? Make this a little bigger. So we have a dashed line or a solid. Then you're going to ask yourself, should you shade above or below? Should you shade above or shade below? So you graph your line, just graph your 2 points or more, then determine dashed or solid, and then shade above or below. Okay, remember, if you see a line in your inequality, make a solid line. So what it means by a line in your inequality, see how these have lines in the inequality? If it has a line, then it's solid. If it doesn't have a line, then it's dashed. So remember, if you see a line in your inequality, make a line solid. And if you don't see a line in your inequality, do not make a line. That means you're going to make it dashed. So don't make a full line, make a dashed line. If you draw an imaginary line at the opening If it resembles letter P, shade up. If it resembles letter D, shade down. So these are just other ways of remembering. I also told you if it's greater, that means above, less means below. Okay, let's do this problem together. Graph the inequality. Y is less than or equal to negative 1/4 x plus 2. Do you need to convert to slope-intercept form? It's already in that form. So grab the scribble tool and put no. It's already there. M, what is our slope? Negative 1/4. And what is our B? Positive 2. Let me move this. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot some points, and then we'll talk about shading and how the line should look. So when we graph it, we're going to graph the y-intercept at 2 first. So look over here, grab a little point. Y-intercept is at positive 2. Yes?
I have a different inequality on
Yeah,
mine.
me too.
Oh, yeah, me too.
What is yours?
Mine's y equals greater than or equal to 2/3 x plus 3.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's
right.
like
Okay, so I had this wrong. So I'm going to fix mine because I edited yours before I did some, I don't know. But this is our equation. That's the equation y'all have, right? 2/3 x plus 3.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Well, ours is black.
Wait.
Mine's black.
Okay. I don't know. All right, so we have a point at positive 3 then. Then we go up 2 over 3. Up 2 over 3. And then do it again, up 2 over 3. And then again, up 2 over 3. If you wanted, you could go down 2, left 3 to get a couple more points. All right, so is this going to be dashed or solid? Solid, because it has that extra line right here. So that means it's going to be solid. And then how are we going to shade if it is that greater than? It's supposed to be greater than, right? So how's it going to be shaded, up or down? Up. Okay, so let's grab a solid line from over here. Does it have one? Yeah. Yeah, so we're shading above, right? So get that polyline. Start out at the end of the arrow. Go up, click, over, click, down, click, and then down that line. And then do your custom color. You've already created one, so you can use that same custom color that you did. So see how the custom colors are down here?
Mhm.
I have a few others, but they're not transparent. So I want the one that's transparent that I can see through.
Me too.
So then we would just need to check a point. So let's find a point. I need to zoom in. And we are about out of time. So just plot a point.
2 and 7/3.
What? No. And then we would check that point. So tomorrow we will do slides 7 and 8 and continue working on graphing inequalities. So no homework tonight.
Yeah.